What if your body started to betray you overnight and there was nothing you could do to stop it? What if the very muscles that once carried you through life began to vanish silently, weakening your steps, your grip, your independence? For Linda Thompson, a 68-year-old retired nurse, this was no longer a hypothetical question but a frightening reality she faced every day. Linda had always been strong, both in body and spirit. Raised in a small town in Ohio, she learned early on the value of hard work and perseverance from her parents, who ran a modest family farm. After nursing school, she spent 40 years caring for others with unwavering dedication, often sacrificing her own needs for the well-being of her patients and family. But recently, Linda noticed something unsettling. Tasks that once seemed effortless, lifting groceries, climbing stairs, even standing up without wobbling, became difficult. The steady strength she had taken for granted was slipping away, replaced by a creeping weakness that left her vulnerable and frustrated. It started with small moments, dropping a coffee cup, missing a step, or feeling unusually tired after a short walk. But soon, these moments grew frequent enough to invade her daily life. The once vibrant hikes she shared with her late husband, Tom, became memories tinged with sorrow and longing. Linda's daughter, Sarah, often worried about her mother's growing frailty. "Mom, you need to be careful," Sarah would say, urging her to slow down, to take it easy. But Linda's spirit resisted surrender. She was determined not to become a burden, not to lose herself to the relentless march of aging. One afternoon, while reaching for a can on the top shelf at the grocery store, Linda lost her balance and stumbled. A young man nearby caught her just in time, but the shock lingered. Maybe it's time to do something about this, she thought. She wasn't ready to accept a slow fade into helplessness. That night, as she sat quietly in her cozy living room, the question burned in her mind: is there a way to fight back against muscle loss, this invisible enemy stealing strength from seniors like her? With a steady breath, she pulled out her tablet and began researching. That's when she came across something unexpected: an article linking simple bedtime routines to muscle preservation in seniors. The piece mentioned recent advances inspired by tech visionaries like Elon Musk, who were exploring ways to enhance human health and longevity through innovation and lifestyle changes. Linda was intrigued. Could such a simple habit before bed really make a difference? Her curiosity ignited a spark of hope. She thought about her many patients over the years, some who had fought hard to keep their independence, others who had given up too soon. She remembered a phrase Tom used to say during their hikes: strength isn't just muscle. It's heart and will. That night, Linda decided she would try this new approach. Before closing her eyes, she would dedicate a few minutes to a gentle routine designed to preserve muscle and slow aging. But she wasn't alone in this fight. There was Janet, her best friend and neighbor, who had faced her own battles with health after a stroke. Janet had joined a senior wellness group that emphasized physical and mental well-being. Linda resolved to join them, knowing that community support might be the key to staying motivated. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from, she thought, imagining sharing her journey with others who might be struggling. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? These words became her mantra. The first few nights were challenging. Linda's body resisted the new routine, her muscles stiff and uncooperative. But slowly, as she committed herself, she began to notice small changes. A bit more ease standing up, a slight improvement in her grip strength. Her daughter noticed too, offering encouragement and joining her on some of the exercises. Linda's life began to shift. What once seemed like an inevitable decline transformed into a new adventure, one filled with resilience, discovery, and hope. The journey was far from easy, with setbacks and moments of doubt, but each day brought renewed determination. Linda realized that muscle loss wasn't just a physical battle, it was emotional and psychological too. The loss of strength meant grappling with fears of dependency and invisibility, but it also opened a door to reconnect with herself and those she loved. As she prepared for bed each night, following the routine inspired by science and supported by her community, Linda felt a growing sense of control over her destiny. Her muscles, once slipping away silently, were beginning to respond. She understood now that aging didn't have to mean giving up. It was about learning new ways to fight back, to adapt, and to embrace life's challenges with courage. What if you too could find that spark, that simple habit before bed that could change the course of your health? Linda's story is a reminder that no matter our age, the power to change, to grow stronger, and to reclaim our lives lies within reach. Life's twists and turns may test us, but with determination, love, and a little bit of science, we can rewrite the story of aging. Tonight, as you prepare to rest, ask yourself, what's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Linda, it was the memory of Tom's hiking boots on the trail, the smile of her grandson Mikey, and the promise that every night's routine could bring her closer to strength. The fight isn't over, it's just beginning. And so is yours. Linda Thompson's story didn't begin with weakness or fear. It began with a lifetime of strength shaped by hardship and love, by loss and resilience. Born in 1957 in a small Ohio town, Linda was the eldest of 3 siblings. Her parents, hard-working farmers, instilled in her a strong work ethic and a belief that no challenge was too great if you faced it with courage. From a young age, Linda learned the meaning of responsibility, helping in the fields after school and caring for her younger brothers when her parents were busy. But it wasn't just the physical labor that shaped her, it was the emotional resilience built through moments of hardship. When Linda was 12, her father suffered a heart attack that left him weak and unable to continue working the farm. Overnight, the family's stability shifted, and Linda took on more chores to help keep the household afloat. She remembers those years as difficult but formative, teaching her the importance of persistence and sacrifice. After high school, Linda followed her dream of becoming a nurse, a profession where her compassion and strength combined perfectly. Nursing school wasn't easy, long nights, stressful exams, and the emotional weight of caring for the sick challenged her in ways that sometimes felt overwhelming. But she excelled, driven by a deep desire to help others. Her first job was at a small community hospital, where she quickly earned a reputation as someone who could handle pressure without losing her kindness. Throughout her career, Linda cared for countless patients, many of whom became like family. She saw the full spectrum of life, births, recoveries, deaths, and each experience deepened her empathy and understanding of human fragility. Her marriage to Tom, a local high school teacher and avid hiker, brought joy and companionship. Together, they shared a love of nature and adventure, often spending weekends exploring nearby trails and national parks. The image of Tom's laughter echoing through the woods stayed with Linda after his unexpected death 5 years ago, a loss that still haunted her. Being widowed changed Linda in profound ways. The loneliness was a heavy burden, but she found comfort in her daughter Sarah, who had just started college when Tom passed. Sarah was everything to Linda, her pride, her motivation, her reason to keep going. Grandson Mikey, born 2 years ago, brought light to Linda's life with his innocent joy and boundless energy. Yet, despite her emotional strength, Linda's body began to betray her in ways she couldn't control. After years of nursing others back to health, she now faced her own physical decline, a struggle that gnawed at her identity. Linda's personality was a complex blend of toughness and tenderness. She could be stubborn, refusing to ask for help even when it was clear she needed it. But she was also deeply caring, quick to smile and slow to anger. Her friends described her as a rock, steady, reliable, and fiercely loyal. Her relationship with Sarah was strong but sometimes strained. Sarah lived 3 hours away and juggled a demanding job with raising her own family. They spoke often on the phone, but the physical distance made it hard to truly support each other. Sarah worried about her mother's independence and urged her to accept help, but Linda's pride often got in the way. Her friendship with Janet, who lived next door, was one of Linda's greatest blessings. Janet had faced her own health battles and understood the fear and frustration of growing older. Together, they attended the local senior wellness group, sharing stories and encouragement. These relationships were the lifelines that kept Linda anchored as her world shifted. The emotional memories that shaped Linda were deeply intertwined with her sense of purpose. The memory of Tom's hiking boots beside the door, the laughter of Sarah on the phone, the sparkle in Mikey's eyes, these moments fueled her will to fight back against the muscle loss threatening to steal her independence. Linda often reflected on the paradox of aging, the body weakening while the spirit remained fierce. She believed that strength wasn't just measured by muscles but by the heart's capacity to endure. This belief kept her moving forward, even on the days when her body felt like it was failing. Yet, beneath her determination lay a simmering anxiety. The slow loss of muscle wasn't just physical, it was a loss of control, a creeping reminder of mortality that no amount of willpower could fully erase. Linda feared becoming a shadow of herself, dependent on others for the simplest tasks. She worried about being a burden to Sarah and losing the dignity she had fought so hard to maintain. These fears were often unspoken but influenced her every decision. She hid her struggles from friends and family, putting on a brave face even when her knees ached or her hands trembled. This internal conflict created a deep emotional tension within Linda, one that made her journey all the more compelling. Despite these challenges, Linda's motivation never wavered. The relationships she cherished were her greatest source of strength. Sarah's voice on the phone, full of concern but also love, reminded Linda that she wasn't alone. Mikey's innocent curiosity and boundless energy inspired hope for the future. Janet's companionship showed her that others faced similar battles, and together, they could find ways to thrive. These bonds were the emotional backbone of Linda's story. As Linda embraced her new bedtime routine, inspired by her research and the support of her community, she began to see her past and present merge. The lessons of resilience learned on the family farm, the compassion honed in the hospital, the love shared with her family, all converged into a powerful force driving her forward. Her story wasn't just about fighting muscle loss, it was about reclaiming her life, rewriting the narrative of aging from decline to renewal. This deep understanding of herself and her relationships set the stage for the rising conflicts ahead. Linda's strength would be tested not only by physical challenges but by emotional battles, misunderstandings with loved ones, moments of despair, and the constant tension between independence and vulnerability. Yet, through it all, Linda remained determined to find hope and meaning. She understood that every setback held a silver lining, every difficult moment a chance to grow stronger. This belief, forged through decades of experience and love, would carry her through the darkest moments of her journey. Linda's character backstory reveals a woman shaped by hard work, loss, and unwavering love. Her personality is a blend of toughness and tenderness, pride and vulnerability. Her relationships with her daughter, grandson, and closest friends provide both motivation and emotional complexity. These elements create a foundation for readers to connect with Linda on a profound level, rooting for her as she faces the rising conflicts and challenges ahead. As Linda moves forward, armed with knowledge, support, and a newfound routine, she embodies the hope and resilience that define the human spirit. Her story invites readers to reflect on their own lives, to find strength in relationships, and to embrace the possibility of renewal even in the face of aging's harsh realities. This chapter sets the emotional groundwork for the coming chapters, where Linda's conflicts will intensify and her journey toward healing and transformation will unfold. Through vivid descriptions of her past and relationships, the audience is invited to walk alongside Linda, feeling her struggles and triumphs as if they were their own. Her story is a testament to the power of resilience, the importance of connection, and the promise that life can be full of surprises, even when it seems like everything is slipping away. The first signs of conflict in Linda's life didn't arrive all at once, they crept in slowly, like a shadow stretching across a sunny day. What began as small frustrations soon grew into moments that challenged not just her body, but her spirit and relationships. Linda found herself trapped between the desire to remain independent and the harsh reality of her weakening muscles. One morning, while trying to carry a heavy basket of laundry up the stairs, she faltered. The sudden strain made her wince with pain, and she nearly dropped the basket. The moment was humiliating and painful, both physically and emotionally. Linda's mind raced with thoughts of failure and loss. She wanted to be strong, to prove she didn't need help, but her body betrayed her in the most inconvenient ways. This incident marked the beginning of a rising conflict that would test her resilience. At the grocery store a few days later, Linda's hands trembled as she reached for a jar of peanut butter. It slipped, crashing to the floor and drawing the attention of nearby shoppers. Embarrassment flushed her cheeks, but the deeper pain was the realization that her strength was fading in public view. She wanted to disappear, to escape the eyes of others who might judge her as frail or incapable. These moments of physical decline spilled into her relationships. Sarah, her daughter, noticed the changes with growing concern. During a phone call, Sarah's voice was gentle but firm. "Mom, I think you should see a doctor about this weakness. You don't have to do everything alone." But Linda's pride pushed back. "I'm fine, Sarah. I just need to take it slow." The misunderstanding created tension between them, as Sarah's worry felt like an accusation of incompetence, and Linda's independence felt threatened. At times, the distance between them seemed wider than the miles that separated their homes. Meanwhile, Janet, Linda's neighbor and closest friend, became a vital source of hope. Janet herself had faced a stroke 2 years earlier and understood the daily battles against physical limitation. "You're not alone in this," Janet said one afternoon as they sipped tea. "We have to fight together." Together, they joined the local senior wellness group, a community gathering focused on physical therapy, nutrition, and emotional support. For Linda, this group became a beacon of hope amid the rising conflict. It was a place where she could share her fears without judgment and find practical solutions to slow muscle loss. Yet even with this support, the struggle intensified. Linda's health insurance limited her access to physical therapy, and the exercises sometimes left her sore and discouraged. One evening, after a particularly exhausting session, she collapsed into her favorite armchair, overwhelmed by fatigue and doubt. The fear that she was losing the battle gnawed at her. What if all her efforts were in vain? This emotional low was punctuated by moments of hope that buoyed her spirits. When Sarah surprised her with a visit and helped with the exercises, Linda felt a surge of gratitude and connection. These fleeting moments of support reminded her that she wasn't alone. They gave her the strength to face another day, another challenge. Yet, just as hope blossomed, another climax of conflict struck. A few weeks later, on the eve of a planned family reunion, Linda's body betrayed her again. She woke with stiff joints and aching muscles that made even getting out of bed a struggle. The thought of missing the reunion filled her with sadness and frustration. This was more than just a physical setback, it felt like a personal failure. She feared disappointing her family, especially Sarah and Mikey, who looked forward to seeing her. Despite the pain, Linda refused to give up. She drew on the lessons she'd learned from Janet and the wellness group, adapting her bedtime routine to include new stretches and breathing exercises designed to ease her pain. The family reunion became a symbol of hope, a goal that pushed her through the discomfort. The rising conflict in Linda's story was not just about muscle loss but about the emotional tension between independence and vulnerability, pride and acceptance. Each physical setback brought waves of fear and frustration, but also opportunities for connection and growth. Linda's journey revealed the complexity of aging, showing that decline is not a simple, linear process but a series of peaks and valleys. In the midst of these struggles, Linda discovered a surprising new source of inspiration: technology. One afternoon, while reading an article on her tablet, she came across breakthroughs linked to Elon Musk and his company Neuralink, exploring ways to interface technology with the human nervous system to improve health and longevity. The idea that cutting-edge innovation might one day help people like her sparked a fresh wave of hope. She learned that some researchers were investigating how neural implants could stimulate muscle function or slow degeneration. Though the technology was still in its infancy, the promise was tantalizing. Linda shared the news with Janet and Sarah, who were intrigued but cautious. "It sounds like science fiction," Janet joked, "but if it can help us seniors stay strong, I'm all for it." This discovery added a new layer to Linda's rising conflict, a tension between the present reality of her body's limits and the hopeful future that science might offer. It gave her renewed determination to stick with her nightly routine and keep her body as strong as possible while waiting for breakthroughs. The climax hope climax pattern repeated in Linda's life like waves on the shore. After every setback, a glimmer of hope appeared, whether through the support of loved ones, a small improvement in strength, or the promise of new technology. Then another challenge would rise, testing her resolve. But each cycle brought growth, resilience, and a deeper understanding of herself. This pattern created a powerful emotional rhythm that kept the story compelling and true to life. Linda's rising conflict also highlighted the broader challenges faced by seniors everywhere: how to balance pride and need, independence and help, fear and hope. It showed that aging is not just about the body but about relationships and identity. Linda's struggles became a mirror for anyone facing the complex emotions of growing older. As the chapter closes, Linda stands at a crossroads. Her body is fragile, but her spirit is unbroken. The tension between what she fears and what she hopes drives her forward. She knows the journey will not be easy, but she's determined to face it with courage and love. With Janet by her side, Sarah's support growing stronger, and a newfound fascination with the possibilities of science, Linda prepares to embark on a new chapter, a climactic journey that will test her in ways she never imagined but also offer the chance for transformation and renewal. The story of Linda Thompson is far from over. In fact, it is just beginning to unfold into a dramatic, emotional adventure where every step forward is hard-won but full of meaning. What will the future hold for her? How will she confront the unexpected twists and turns ahead? The answers lie in the next chapters of her inspiring journey. Linda's life took an unexpected turn when she decided to attend a seminar at the local community center titled, "The Future of Aging, Technology and Wellness." The event was part of a new initiative to educate seniors about emerging advances in health, longevity, and muscle preservation, including some cutting-edge research connected to Elon Musk's ventures into human enhancement. The room was packed with curious faces, many reflecting the same blend of hope and apprehension Linda carried. The speaker, a charismatic biomedical engineer named Dr. Carter, began by describing the alarming reality of sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, that affects millions of seniors worldwide, often leading to frailty, falls, and loss of independence. Dr. Carter explained that while traditional methods like exercise and nutrition are critical, recent breakthroughs in neurotechnology and regenerative medicine are opening doors to new possibilities. Linda listened intently as Dr. Carter outlined how devices like Neuralink's neural implants could potentially stimulate muscles directly by enhancing nerve signals, a revolutionary idea that could change the way aging bodies respond to degeneration. The room buzzed with questions and excitement, but also skepticism. Could such futuristic technology really help someone like Linda? She felt a spark of curiosity and cautious optimism she hadn't experienced in years. After the seminar, Linda found herself talking to Dr. Carter, who encouraged her to participate in a pilot program combining physical therapy with wearable technology designed to monitor muscle activity and provide personalized feedback. The program promised tailored exercises that would maximize muscle preservation by adapting in real time to the user's progress. Linda decided to join, seeing this as a chance to regain control over her weakening muscles. The pilot program introduced her to a team of dedicated therapists and engineers who guided her through a regimen that integrated gentle strength-building exercises with daily use of a sleek, sensor-packed sleeve worn on her dominant arm. The sleeve tracked muscle movements and sent data to an app on her tablet, allowing the therapists to adjust her routine remotely. The first week was both exhilarating and exhausting. Linda pushed her body harder than she had in months, feeling both the strain of muscle fatigue and the thrill of small improvements. Each night, she completed the exercises before bed, following the recommendations and adjusting based on the feedback. Gradually, Linda noticed that movements she had struggled with, lifting cups, opening jars, even gripping her walker, became easier. The tactile sensation of the sleeve, combined with the encouragement from the app, gave her a sense of connection and control. But the journey wasn't without its hardships. There were days when soreness and fatigue threatened to derail her commitment. One afternoon, a particularly painful spasm in her shoulder made her question if she was pushing too hard. Doubt crept in, whispering that maybe her body was too far gone. Yet, each time the dark thoughts appeared, Linda drew strength from her memories: Tom's laughter on the hiking trail, Mikey's smile, Sarah's voice, and recommitted herself to the process. Outside the pilot program, Linda also began making small changes to her bedtime routine beyond the exercises. She incorporated stretches designed to relax stiff muscles, deep breathing to calm her mind, and mindfulness techniques to manage stress, all inspired by recommendations from the wellness group. These habits created a sacred ritual before sleep that not only benefited her body but soothed her soul. The community support from the wellness group grew stronger as Linda shared her progress and challenges. Janet and several other members expressed admiration and newfound motivation. Linda became a source of inspiration, showing that even in the face of muscle loss, hope and progress were possible. However, the road ahead remained uncertain. Midway through the pilot program, Linda faced an unexpected setback. A minor fall in her kitchen resulted in a bruised hip and renewed fear. The accident was a harsh reminder of her vulnerability. For days, she questioned whether she could continue the regimen or if she would be confined to a cycle of decline. But during this low point, Sarah made an unannounced visit, bringing warmth and support that lifted Linda's spirits. Sarah helped with daily tasks and encouraged her mother to see the fall not as failure but as a hurdle to overcome. Their relationship deepened, bridging past misunderstandings with renewed communication and care. This emotional healing became as important as any physical progress. Determined to rise from the setback, Linda modified her exercises to accommodate the injury and leaned on the wearable technology for real-time guidance. She learned to listen to her body's signals, balancing effort with rest. The pilot program became more than a treatment, it was a journey of self-discovery and adaptation. As weeks passed, Linda's strength slowly returned. The combination of technology, tailored exercises, and emotional support created a synergy that surpassed anything she had experienced before. The muscle preservation she sought was no longer a distant dream but a tangible reality. One evening, as Linda completed her bedtime routine, she reflected on how far she had come. The room around her felt alive with memories, the photos of family on the walls, the worn hiking boots by the door, the cozy armchair where she read books. These objects symbolized a life rich with love, loss, and resilience. Her muscles, once fading, now responded with new vitality. She understood that this journey was ongoing and that challenges would continue, but the hope kindled by innovation and community was a powerful force. Linda's climactic journey was more than physical, it was a narrative of transformation. Through vivid moments of struggle and triumph, she discovered that aging need not mean surrender. Instead, it could be a time of reinvention, fueled by science, connection, and an unyielding spirit. This chapter marked a turning point. The unexpected technology-driven journey illuminated a path forward, blending the promise of the future with the strength of the past. Linda was no longer simply fighting to keep her muscles from disappearing, she was reclaiming her identity and rewriting the story of what it meant to grow older. The next chapters would explore the emotional climax of this journey, where truths would be revealed, bonds tested, and the ultimate question posed: can hope and science combine to defeat the silent thief of muscle and dignity? Linda's story continues to unfold, a testament to human resilience and the remarkable possibilities that arise when determination meets innovation. As she prepared for bed each night, doing the simple but powerful routines she now cherished, Linda felt a profound connection to the future, one where strength, love, and technology converged to keep the flame of life burning bright. The emotional climax of Linda's journey arrived unexpectedly on a cool spring evening. After months of dedication to her new routine, combining cutting-edge technology with tried-and-true physical therapy, Linda felt a surge of optimism she hadn't known in years. But life had one more lesson in store, one that would challenge not just her muscles but her heart. The night began like any other. Linda completed her bedtime stretches, followed the breathing exercises, and slipped on the wearable sleeve, its gentle vibrations reminding her that she was connected to a team rooting for her success. She felt a quiet confidence as she settled into bed, the soft hum of the device a reassuring presence. Yet as she closed her eyes, memories flooded in, memories of Tom's sudden passing, the silence that filled their home afterward, and the weight of loneliness she had carried. Suddenly, tears streamed down her face. This wasn't just physical exhaustion, it was an emotional release that had been building beneath the surface for years. The pain of loss intertwined with the fear of losing herself to weakness, creating a storm she could no longer contain. Sarah, who had been on the phone checking in earlier, sensed the shift and called back immediately. Hearing her mother's trembling voice, she dropped everything and rushed over. When Sarah arrived, she found Linda sitting in the armchair, the wearable sleeve glowing softly on her arm, tears and exhaustion etched deeply into her face. The reunion was raw and real, filled with confessions, apologies, and the silent acknowledgement of shared grief. For the first time, Linda allowed herself to lean on her daughter fully, to accept the comfort she had long resisted. This emotional climax was a turning point. It revealed the vulnerability beneath Linda's strength and opened a new path for healing. With Sarah's support, Linda began attending counseling sessions to process her grief and anxiety, alongside her physical rehabilitation. The combination of emotional and physical care was transformative. Around the same time, the wearable technology team introduced an upgraded neural interface prototype, designed to enhance muscle stimulation even further by directly interacting with nerve signals in real time. Linda was selected as one of the first participants, a testament to her dedication and progress. The new device brought hope but also anxiety. The thought of having something implanted was daunting, stirring fears about risks and the unknown. Yet, Linda's spirit, forged in years of resilience, propelled her forward. She agreed to the procedure, determined to explore every avenue that might preserve her independence. The surgery was a delicate balance of cutting-edge science and human courage. Linda's mind raced with questions and hopes as she lay in the hospital bed, surrounded by caring professionals. When the neural interface was activated, she experienced a strange but exhilarating sensation, an electric pulse coursing through her arm, awakening muscles that had long felt dormant. The results were immediate and profound. Over the next days, Linda's strength improved at a pace that astonished doctors and therapists alike. Tasks that had seemed impossible, a firm handshake, lifting a plate, even climbing a few steps, became achievable. But more importantly, Linda felt a renewed sense of agency and confidence. This technological breakthrough combined with her emotional healing created a synergy that reignited her zest for life. As Linda's physical strength grew, so did her emotional clarity. In counseling, she confronted the fears and regrets that had shadowed her for years. She spoke openly about Tom, about the loneliness that followed his death, and about her fears of becoming a burden to Sarah and Mikey. Each session peeled back layers of pain, revealing a core of hope and acceptance. The process wasn't easy, sometimes tears flowed freely, sometimes anger surfaced, but with every step, Linda moved closer to peace. One evening, after a particularly moving session, Linda sat by the window watching the sunset paint the sky in hues of orange and pink. She realized that her journey was not just about fighting muscle loss but about embracing the full spectrum of life, the joys, sorrows, challenges, and triumphs. She understood that vulnerability was not weakness but a gateway to deeper strength. The community around her noticed the transformation. Janet remarked on Linda's renewed spirit, saying, "You glow with a light that wasn't there before." Sarah, too, saw her mother in a new light, no longer just as someone who needed help but as a courageous woman leading her own healing. The emotional climax also brought unexpected reconciliation with her own body. Instead of resenting the changes, Linda began to honor her limits while celebrating every small victory. She found joy in simple pleasures, a warm cup of tea, a gentle walk outside, the laughter of Mikey echoing through the house. This shift in mindset was the true triumph, transcending physical measures to touch the heart of what it meant to live fully. The climax hope climax pattern that had characterized Linda's journey now culminated in a profound revelation. The ultimate climax was not just muscle regained or technology mastered, but the acceptance of life's fragility coupled with unwavering hope. This lesson resonated deeply, offering a powerful message to anyone facing the trials of aging or adversity. The chapter closes with Linda writing a letter to her younger self, a testament to the wisdom she gained. In it, she writes, "Life will test you in ways you never imagined. You will feel broken and afraid, but remember this, strength is not just in your muscles but in your heart and spirit. Allow yourself to be vulnerable, to ask for help, and to believe in the power of hope. The journey is never easy, but it is always worth it." Linda's emotional climax set the stage for the final chapters, where resolution and reflection would bring her story full circle. Her lessons about love, family, sacrifice, and the intersection of human spirit and technology offer a meaningful message that transcends her personal experience. This chapter invites readers to feel deeply, to confront their own fears, and to find courage in vulnerability. Linda's journey reminds us that even when muscles disappear, the human capacity for resilience and love endures, lighting the way toward new beginnings. Linda awoke the next morning feeling a strange mix of exhaustion and peace. The emotional release from the night before had left her drained but strangely lighter, as if a weight had been lifted from her chest. She moved slowly, savoring the quiet moments before the day began, and remembered the letter she had written to her younger self. The words echoed in her mind, a reminder of the journey she was still on, a path not just of physical healing but of deeper understanding. The days that followed were filled with small, meaningful moments. Sarah and Mikey visited often, their presence a balm to Linda's soul. Together, they cooked meals, shared stories, and even planned a short trip to the mountains where Linda and Tom had once hiked. The prospect of revisiting those cherished places filled Linda with both nostalgia and excitement. She realized how much love and family anchored her, giving her strength to face whatever lay ahead. At the same time, Linda continued her physical regimen, embracing the nightly exercises and the neural interface technology with a sense of purpose. The device became more than a tool, it was a symbol of hope and progress. Each day, she felt muscles responding in ways that once seemed impossible, and with every movement, her confidence grew. She no longer saw herself as fragile but as a woman reclaiming her power. This chapter of Linda's life was marked by reflection and gratitude. She began journaling daily, capturing her thoughts, fears, and hopes. Writing became a therapeutic ritual, helping her process the complexities of aging, loss, and renewal. Through these pages, Linda confronted her fears of dependence and the desire to remain self-sufficient. She acknowledged the bittersweet truth that independence did not mean doing everything alone but knowing when to accept help. One afternoon, while sitting on her porch watching the sun dip below the horizon, Linda felt a profound sense of connection, to her past, her family, and the world around her. The sky's colors reminded her of the many seasons she had witnessed, each with its own beauty and challenge. She thought of Tom's words, "Life is full of surprises, but love will always lead the way." Those words now resonated with a deeper meaning. Linda understood that love was not just a feeling but a force that sustained her through pain, loss, and transformation. It was the thread weaving her story together. The community wellness group continued to be a source of support and inspiration. Linda shared her experiences openly, encouraging others to embrace new technologies and to nurture their emotional health. Her story became a beacon of hope, illustrating that aging could be a time of growth, not just decline. Janet, especially, flourished alongside Linda, their friendship growing even stronger through shared challenges and triumphs. Together, they planned outreach programs to educate other seniors about muscle preservation and the importance of emotional well-being. Linda also found new purpose in mentoring younger women who cared for aging relatives. She understood the complexities of caregiving, the mixture of love, exhaustion, frustration, and joy. Her advice emphasized patience, self-care, and the power of hope. The resolution of Linda's journey was not about a perfect ending but about embracing life's imperfect beauty. She accepted that some days would be harder than others, but with love, technology, and community, she could navigate those days with grace. One evening, as she prepared for bed, Linda reflected on the profound changes she had undergone. The woman who once feared losing everything now saw herself as resilient and resourceful. Her muscles might have weakened at times, but her spirit remained unbreakable. In this moment of reflection, Linda composed a message for her family and friends, a testament to the lessons she had learned. Life's challenges may test us, but they also teach us. Don't fear the future. Embrace every moment, every struggle, and every joy. Love fiercely, ask for help when you need it, and never stop believing in yourself. The story of Linda Thompson closes with a hopeful note, a life redefined by courage, connection, and innovation. Her journey serves as a powerful reminder that even in the face of physical decline, the human heart can grow stronger, lighting the way for new beginnings and endless possibilities. What started as a struggle against disappearing muscles became a transformative adventure, proving that age is not a limit but a new chapter full of promise. Linda's story invites us all to ask ourselves, what if we faced our fears with love and technology at our side? What if the hardest battles revealed our deepest strengths? The answer, like Linda's journey, is full of hope and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. Linda's renewed strength and spirit opened doors she hadn't dared approach in years. Encouraged by her progress and the support of her family, she decided to volunteer at the community center that had introduced her to the pilot program. She wanted to help other seniors facing muscle loss and the emotional weight that came with it. On her first day, Linda felt a mix of nerves and excitement. Walking through the center's doors, she was greeted by familiar faces and new ones, people seeking hope and guidance. Linda shared her story openly during group sessions, speaking about the challenges of aging, the breakthrough technology she was using, and the emotional healing she had experienced. Her honesty resonated deeply with the attendees, many of whom had felt isolated or hopeless. She became a source of inspiration and a living testament to what could be achieved with perseverance and the right support. One of the women, Diane, reminded Linda of herself, frustrated by physical limitations and reluctant to ask for help. Over cups of tea after a session, Diane confessed her fear of losing independence and the shame she felt when relying on others. Linda listened with empathy and shared her own fears, emphasizing that vulnerability was not weakness but a bridge to connection. Their friendship blossomed, and Linda encouraged Diane to try the wearable technology and join the exercise program. The sense of community grew, knitting the seniors together in shared purpose and mutual encouragement. Linda's days were filled with meaningful work and deepening relationships, but her nights remained sacred, times to complete her exercises, reflect, and recharge. The routines that once felt like chores had become rituals of self-care and empowerment. Each movement was a reminder of her journey from despair to hope. Outside the center, Linda also deepened her bond with Sarah and Mikey. Mikey, now a teenager, was growing into a thoughtful young man who took pride in his mother's courage. He began accompanying Linda on short walks, pushing her wheelchair when needed but also encouraging her to stretch and exercise. Their conversations ranged from school to dreams for the future, weaving a tapestry of family connection. Sarah, balancing work and family, found new strength in her mother's example. Together, they navigated the complexities of caregiving and independence, learning to communicate openly and honestly. This emotional growth was as vital as any physical improvement. As months passed, the pilot program evolved. The technology advanced with new software updates that allowed more precise muscle stimulation and feedback. Linda eagerly adapted, appreciating how each enhancement helped refine her routine and maximize results. The medical team invited her to participate in a research conference, where she shared her experience with professionals and peers. Standing at the podium, Linda spoke with passion and authenticity, breaking down the barriers often felt between patients and scientists. Her story became a bridge, illustrating how innovation could transform lives when paired with human determination and community support. The conference was a turning point, igniting Linda's sense of purpose beyond her immediate surroundings. She envisioned broader possibilities, advocacy for seniors, education about new technologies, and fostering empathy across generations. With this vision, Linda and Janet collaborated on developing workshops that combined physical wellness with emotional resilience training, tailored for seniors and their caregivers. The workshops emphasized practical exercises, mindfulness techniques, and the importance of social connection. Feedback from participants was overwhelmingly positive, with many reporting renewed motivation and improved quality of life. This success strengthened Linda's resolve to continue her mission. However, the journey was not without obstacles. One winter, a severe flu season swept through the community, and Linda contracted the virus. The illness hit hard, forcing her to pause her exercises and spend days in bed. The setback was discouraging, reviving fears of losing ground. But Linda's support network rallied around her. Sarah took time off work to care for her, Janet brought homemade soup, and the therapy team adjusted her program for a gentle recovery. This period tested Linda's patience and resilience, but it also reaffirmed the power of community and adaptability. When she gradually resumed her regimen, she noticed a new appreciation for the body's capacity to heal and the mind's strength to persevere. The seasons changed, and with spring came renewed energy and growth. Linda planned a family reunion at the mountains, a symbolic return to the place where she and Tom had once found joy and adventure. The trip was a celebration of life, love, and the ongoing journey of healing. Surrounded by laughter, stories, and the beauty of nature, Linda felt deeply connected to her past and hopeful for the future. As she hiked a gentle trail with Sarah and Mikey, she marveled at the progress her body had made, the strength to climb, the steadiness of her steps, the joy in her heart. This physical achievement mirrored the emotional journey she had traveled, a testament to the intertwined nature of body and soul. The trip also sparked a desire to document her story more fully. Linda began working with a local writer to develop a memoir, hoping to reach a wider audience and share the lessons she had learned. The writing process was both cathartic and inspiring, allowing her to revisit difficult moments and celebrate triumphs. Through her words, Linda aimed to dismantle the stigma around aging and disability, to show that with love, innovation, and determination, new chapters could always be written. This chapter of Linda's life was one of empowerment, community, and vision. She had transformed from a woman fearful of losing herself into a leader advocating for others. Her muscles might have once been disappearing, but her influence was expanding, touching lives beyond what she had imagined. Linda's story was no longer just about survival, it was about thriving and inspiring. The emotional and physical peaks and valleys she experienced highlighted the resilience of the human spirit and the incredible potential unlocked when technology and compassion intersect. As she prepared for bed each night, Linda reflected on the journey ahead with gratitude and resolve. Her story was far from over. With each step, each breath, and each shared moment, she was shaping a future filled with hope, strength, and endless possibilities. Linda's mornings had taken on a new rhythm, one filled with intentionality and quiet strength. As the sunlight filtered through the curtains, she would begin her day with the exercises that had become the cornerstone of her physical renewal. The wearable device hummed softly, its sensors capturing the subtle muscle movements that Linda once feared were lost forever. Each contraction, each stretch, was a victory, a testament to the months of hard work and unwavering hope. But it wasn't just the physical changes that defined this chapter of her life. Linda found herself reflecting more deeply on the interconnectedness of body and mind. She had come to understand that maintaining muscle strength was as much about nurturing mental resilience as it was about physical activity. This insight inspired her to explore mindfulness and meditation practices, integrating them into her daily routine. The community center welcomed this new approach enthusiastically, and soon Linda was leading sessions that combined gentle movement with breath awareness and guided visualization. The participants reported feeling calmer, more focused, and better equipped to face their challenges. One of the regular attendees, George, a retired firefighter, shared how the combination of physical and mental exercises helped ease his chronic pain and reduce anxiety. His story, like so many others, reinforced the transformative power of holistic care. Linda's commitment to this integrated approach soon caught the attention of a local university's gerontology department. They invited her to collaborate on a research project aimed at studying the effects of combined physical and mindfulness interventions on muscle preservation and emotional well-being in seniors. Excited by the opportunity, Linda agreed, eager to contribute to knowledge that could benefit countless others. The research involved detailed assessments, regular monitoring, and focus groups where participants shared their experiences. Linda found herself immersed in a vibrant community of scholars, therapists, and fellow seniors all dedicated to pushing the boundaries of what aging could look like. This engagement gave Linda a renewed sense of purpose and intellectual stimulation. She enjoyed the camaraderie and the feeling of being at the forefront of a movement redefining aging. Meanwhile, at home, Sarah and Mikey continued to be pillars of support. Sarah's work as a nurse often brought new perspectives on healthcare and patient advocacy, which she shared with Linda. Mikey, fascinated by the technology that helped his grandmother, began exploring biomedical engineering in school, dreaming of innovations that could transform lives. The family's bond deepened, anchored in mutual respect and shared goals. The balance of physical care, emotional healing, community engagement, and family connection created a harmonious life rhythm for Linda. Yet, life was never without its surprises. One afternoon, Linda received a call from Janet, who sounded worried. A close friend of theirs, Harold, had experienced a sudden stroke, leaving him partially paralyzed. The news shook Linda deeply. Harold was a fixture in their community wellness group, known for his wit and kindness. His sudden vulnerability was a stark reminder of the fragility they all faced. Linda immediately offered to visit him at the rehabilitation center. Seeing Harold struggle with basic movements was heart-wrenching but also motivating. It underscored the urgency of their work, helping seniors maintain strength and independence as long as possible. Linda shared her own experiences with Harold, encouraging him to persevere through his therapy. She brought along materials from the community center's programs and invited him to join once he was ready. This act of solidarity sparked a new initiative, creating a support network specifically for stroke survivors and their families. Linda, Janet, Sarah, and other volunteers worked together to develop tailored exercise and mindfulness programs addressing the unique challenges of recovery. The response was overwhelming, filling a critical gap in the community's resources. Meanwhile, Linda's own progress continued steadily. She celebrated small milestones, dressing without assistance, walking longer distances, even returning to her garden to tend flowers she loved. Each achievement was a reminder of what was possible with dedication, support, and innovation. The neural interface device received another upgrade, allowing Linda to customize her therapy through an intuitive app. She embraced this new level of control, adjusting intensity and focus areas based on daily feedback from her body. This empowerment was liberating. The emotional journey, too, deepened. Linda learned to sit with discomfort and uncertainty, recognizing these feelings as part of growth. She embraced the concept of impermanence, finding peace in the present moment rather than worrying about what might be lost. This philosophical shift transformed her outlook, making each day a gift rather than a challenge. Linda's story began to inspire beyond her immediate community. Local media featured her journey, highlighting the innovative blend of technology, physical therapy, and emotional healing. Invitations to speak at conferences and participate in panel discussions increased. Linda accepted these opportunities with humility and passion, always emphasizing the collective effort behind her success. Her message was clear: aging does not have to mean decline. With the right tools and mindset, it can be a time of growth, connection, and contribution. As the year turned, Linda planned a major event, the first annual Strength and Spirit Summit, bringing together seniors, caregivers, researchers, and healthcare professionals. The goal was to share knowledge, foster community, and celebrate the resilience of the aging population. Months of preparation brought moments of stress and doubt, but Linda's unwavering commitment saw the project through. The summit was a resounding success, filled with workshops, testimonials, demonstrations of new technologies, and heartfelt stories. Linda's keynote speech moved the audience, weaving together her personal journey with broader themes of hope and innovation. The event planted seeds for ongoing collaboration and advocacy, setting the stage for future advancements. In quieter moments, Linda returned to her writing. The memoir took shape, enriched by the new experiences and insights gained. She wrote not only about muscle loss and recovery but about love, loss, family, and the profound strength found in vulnerability. The act of writing grounded her, connecting past and present, personal and universal. Linda's journey in this chapter was one of expanding horizons, physically, emotionally, intellectually, and socially. The muscles that once threatened to disappear were now symbols of resilience, technology was a bridge to independence, and community was the foundation of hope. Linda's story invited readers to reimagine aging not as an end but as a vibrant new chapter, filled with challenges met by courage and compassion. As she prepared for bed each night, Linda reflected on the incredible journey that had brought her here, from despair to empowerment, isolation to community, fear to acceptance. She felt a deep gratitude for the people who had walked alongside her and for the technology that had given her back a part of herself. The future, once uncertain and frightening, now glowed with possibility. Linda's life was a testament to the power of love, innovation, and the human spirit, a story that would continue to inspire long after the last word was written. Linda's life had entered a new phase, one where purpose and passion guided every action. The momentum built over the past year propelled her into uncharted territories. Inspired by the success of the community programs and the summit, Linda began to dream bigger, imagining a national initiative to support seniors battling muscle loss and emotional isolation. She envisioned partnerships with medical institutions, technology companies, and advocacy groups, all united in a mission to transform aging. To lay the groundwork, Linda reached out to influential figures in healthcare and technology, leveraging the network she had cultivated. One call led to another, and soon she found herself collaborating with innovators eager to integrate wearable muscle stimulation devices with artificial intelligence. This new technology promised personalized therapy regimens, adapting in real time to the user's progress and needs. Linda was thrilled by the possibilities, recognizing that this could revolutionize care for millions of seniors. At the same time, she stayed deeply connected to the grassroots work that had grounded her journey. Visits to local community centers, hospitals, and rehab facilities kept her attuned to the real-world challenges people faced. Linda listened attentively to stories of struggle and triumph, using these narratives to inform the design of programs and products. The emotional resilience she had cultivated helped her approach setbacks with patience and creativity. One challenge emerged unexpectedly when funding for a key research project was cut due to budget constraints. The loss threatened to stall progress and demoralize the team. Linda responded by mobilizing the community, organizing fundraising events, and engaging local media to raise awareness. Her efforts rekindled hope and generated new support, demonstrating the power of collective action. Throughout these efforts, Linda's family remained her anchor. Sarah's nursing career flourished, and Mikey's interest in biomedical engineering blossomed into a scholarship opportunity. Their achievements were sources of pride and joy, reinforcing the intergenerational strength that defined their family. Linda also deepened her relationship with Janet, who had become a close confidant and collaborator. Together, they navigated the complexities of advocacy, research, and community engagement, complementing each other's strengths. As the national initiative took shape, Linda faced moments of self-doubt. The scale of the project was daunting, and balancing her health with leadership responsibilities required careful attention. She relied on the mindfulness practices she had adopted, using meditation and journaling to maintain clarity and calm. These tools helped her manage stress and stay focused on her mission. The initiative's launch was a milestone celebrated with a gala attended by partners, community members, and media representatives. Linda's speech captured the heart of the endeavor: "We are rewriting the story of aging, where strength, hope, and innovation come together to create a future where no one has to face muscle loss or loneliness alone." The event generated excitement and momentum, attracting new collaborators and funding. One of the most rewarding aspects of Linda's work was witnessing transformations in individuals. She continued to visit participants in the programs, celebrating milestones and offering encouragement. These personal connections fueled her passion and reminded her of the human impact behind the data and technology. In parallel, Linda's memoir neared completion. Writing had become a sacred practice, a way to distill wisdom and share her journey authentically. The manuscript blended candid reflections, scientific insights, and stories of love and resilience. Linda hoped it would serve as a beacon for others navigating similar paths. As winter approached, Linda faced a personal challenge when she experienced a minor fall at home. Though there were no serious injuries, the incident was a sobering reminder of the vulnerabilities that come with age. It reinforced the importance of safety measures and the need to design supportive environments for seniors. Linda used the experience to advocate for better home safety education and resources. Despite this setback, Linda remained optimistic and proactive. She adjusted her routines and incorporated new safety exercises recommended by her therapists. The incident deepened her empathy for others coping with physical limitations and the fear of losing independence. Toward the end of the year, Linda was invited to participate in a national television interview to discuss the initiative and her personal story. The opportunity was daunting, but she saw it as a chance to reach a wider audience and amplify the message. Preparing for the interview required revisiting vulnerable moments and articulating complex ideas with clarity and warmth. On the day of the broadcast, Linda's calm demeanor and heartfelt words resonated with viewers. Messages of support and gratitude poured in, further energizing her efforts. The exposure also sparked new collaborations, including interest from international organizations focused on aging populations. As the year closed, Linda reflected on the incredible journey from a woman fearing muscle loss to a leader inspiring change on a national scale. The muscles that once seemed to be disappearing were now symbols of strength and resilience, a metaphor for the transformation possible at any age. She understood that the journey was ongoing, with challenges ahead, but she embraced the future with courage and hope. Linda's story was no longer just her own, it was part of a larger movement toward redefining aging, fueled by love, innovation, and the unyielding human spirit. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? Linda woke up with a mix of excitement and nervous energy, the kind that comes before stepping into the unknown. Today was the day she was traveling to Washington, D.C., to meet with policymakers and advocate for national supportive programs designed to combat muscle loss in seniors. After years of personal struggle and community work, this was the moment where her story might influence legislation and funding on a much larger scale. As she packed her bag, she thought about the journey that had brought her here. The long nights of exercises, the setbacks and recoveries, the friendships that had deepened, and the family who had stood by her. She carried not just her own hopes, but those of countless seniors who dreamed of a future where aging didn't mean losing strength and independence. At the airport, Sarah and Mikey accompanied her, offering encouragement and practical support. The flight gave Linda time to mentally rehearse her presentation, recalling the statistics, personal anecdotes, and calls to action she planned to share. She reminded herself to speak from the heart, knowing that genuine stories often resonate most powerfully. Upon arrival in D.C., Linda was greeted warmly by the advocacy team coordinating the meetings. The group was a diverse mix of seniors, healthcare professionals, and innovators, all united by a shared vision. Their first stop was a briefing session where experts outlined the current landscape of aging-related health issues, funding gaps, and potential policy solutions. Linda listened intently, absorbing new information and connecting it with her own experiences. The next day, the delegation visited Capitol Hill. Linda found herself in the grand halls of government, surrounded by the history and weight of decisions that shaped millions of lives. Meeting with senators and representatives, she shared her journey candidly. How muscle loss had threatened her independence, how technology and community support had changed her life, and how many others remained vulnerable without adequate resources. She spoke of the importance of funding research, expanding access to innovative therapies, and investing in community-based programs that combined physical, emotional, and social care. Linda's words carried the authenticity of lived experience, moving listeners beyond statistics to the human stories behind the numbers. During breaks, she connected with other advocates, exchanging ideas and stories. The atmosphere was charged with purpose, and Linda felt energized by the collective commitment. She also recognized the challenges of navigating political processes, realizing that persistence and coalition building would be key. One evening, after a full day of meetings, Linda reflected on the journey she was undertaking, not just as an advocate but as a symbol of possibility. She thought about the seniors she had met, the families she had supported, and the countless individuals whose voices were not yet heard. This responsibility was humbling but also deeply motivating. Back at the hotel, Linda practiced mindfulness exercises to center herself, grounding her in the present despite the whirlwind around her. She thought about the many nights spent practicing her routines and the support that had made her transformation possible. The next morning, Linda attended a panel discussion featuring experts in gerontology, technology, and healthcare policy. The dialogue was rich, exploring innovative solutions and systemic barriers. Linda contributed insights from her personal journey and community work, emphasizing the need for integrated approaches that addressed both physical and emotional health. The conversation sparked new ideas for collaboration and highlighted the importance of involving seniors directly in designing programs and policies. That afternoon, Linda met with a congressional staffer who was enthusiastic about championing legislation aligned with their goals. The staffer promised to keep Linda informed and involved as the legislative process unfolded, offering a tangible connection between grassroots advocacy and governmental action. As the visit drew to a close, Linda felt a profound sense of accomplishment mixed with anticipation. The work ahead was vast, but this trip had laid a crucial foundation. Returning home, she was greeted by Sarah and Mikey, their smiles a warm reminder of the personal support that fueled her public efforts. The days that followed were busy with follow-up meetings, community updates, and media interviews. Linda's story, amplified by her recent advocacy work, inspired more seniors and caregivers to engage with the programs she had helped develop. She continued to write and speak, always weaving in the message of hope and empowerment. Meanwhile, the wearable technology she used received another upgrade, incorporating AI-driven personalized coaching. Linda embraced the new features, finding that real-time feedback helped her refine her exercises and stay motivated. The technology had become more than a tool, it was a partner in her ongoing journey. As winter gave way to spring, Linda organized a community event to share updates from her trip and celebrate progress. The gathering was filled with laughter, stories, and renewed commitment. Seniors who had once feared losing muscle strength now stood taller, supported by innovative care and a vibrant community. Linda looked around the room, feeling a deep gratitude for the connections that had grown from her personal struggle. The journey had transformed her, and so many others, from isolation to empowerment. She knew there would be more challenges ahead, but she was ready to face them with resilience and grace. Each day was a testament to the power of love, innovation, and the human spirit. Linda's story was no longer just about surviving muscle loss, it was about thriving despite it, inspiring a movement that would change aging for generations to come. The spring air was crisp, carrying with it the promise of renewal. Linda found herself energized by the changing season and the tangible progress of her work. The national initiative was gaining traction, with new partnerships forming and programs expanding. Yet beneath the surface of this success, Linda sensed that the next phase of her journey would demand a different kind of strength, a deeper exploration of healing and vulnerability. One afternoon, while leading a workshop on muscle preservation and mindfulness, Linda noticed a woman named Claire sitting quietly in the back. Claire's posture was guarded, her eyes shadowed with pain. After the session, Linda approached her gently, inviting her to share her story. Claire revealed that she was recently widowed, struggling not only with muscle loss but with profound loneliness and grief. Her isolation had made it difficult to engage fully in the programs, despite her desire to heal. This encounter sparked a new realization for Linda: physical health was inseparable from emotional well-being, especially in the face of loss. She began to research grief counseling and trauma-informed care, seeking ways to integrate these approaches into her programs. Collaborating with mental health professionals, Linda helped develop workshops that combined gentle physical activity with guided emotional processing. These sessions provided a safe space for seniors to express their pain, build resilience, and reconnect with life's meaning. The impact was immediate and profound. Participants reported feeling less alone, more hopeful, and empowered to face their challenges. Claire, in particular, blossomed within this supportive community. She shared her story at a local event, inspiring others to embrace vulnerability as a path to healing. Linda's work continued to evolve, shaped by these human connections. She realized that aging was not simply about preserving muscles but about nurturing the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. This holistic vision attracted attention beyond her usual circles. Invitations came from nationwide organizations focused on elder care, mental health, and community building. Linda embraced these opportunities, eager to broaden the reach of her message. Meanwhile, her family life flourished. Sarah's nursing career led her to advocate for better senior care protocols at her hospital, often sharing insights from Linda's work. Mikey's passion for biomedical engineering deepened, and he began an internship with a company developing advanced prosthetics and rehabilitation technologies. Their shared commitment to innovation and compassion knit the family closer together. One day, Linda received a letter that moved her deeply, a note from a young woman named Emily, whose grandmother had participated in one of Linda's programs. Emily wrote about how the program had transformed her grandmother's life, restoring not only muscle strength but joy and connection. This letter reminded Linda of the ripple effect of her efforts, touching lives beyond what she could see. As the year progressed, Linda faced new challenges. Funding fluctuations and policy changes created uncertainty, requiring adaptability and persistence. She and her team worked tirelessly to secure grants and build sustainable models for their programs. These obstacles tested Linda's resolve but also strengthened her leadership and problem-solving skills. In quieter moments, Linda returned to her memoir, now enriched with stories of grief, healing, and community. Writing became a way to process her experiences and offer solace to others navigating similar journeys. The manuscript was evolving into a testament not only to muscle preservation but to the transformative power of love and vulnerability. One evening, after a long day of meetings and writing, Linda sat on her porch, watching the sun dip below the horizon. The colors of the sky mirrored the complexity of her emotions. Hope tinged with sorrow, strength intertwined with fragility. She thought about the many faces she had encountered, each carrying their own stories of loss and courage. This reflection deepened her gratitude for the journey, imperfect, challenging, yet profoundly meaningful. The community center hosted a spring festival, celebrating the achievements of its members. Linda helped organize the event, coordinating activities that showcased physical demonstrations, art, music, and storytelling. The atmosphere buzzed with joy and camaraderie, a living example of the resilience and creativity that flourished when people came together. Claire performed a heartfelt poem about grief and renewal, moving the audience to tears and applause. Linda felt a swell of pride and connection. This festival was more than a celebration, it was a beacon of hope and solidarity. In the months that followed, Linda's leadership role expanded to include mentoring emerging advocates and facilitators. She found joy in nurturing new voices and sharing the lessons she had learned. The mentorship was reciprocal, bringing fresh perspectives and energy that enriched Linda's work. Throughout all this, Linda continued her personal fitness and mindfulness practices, mindful that her own well-being was essential to sustaining her mission. The wearable technology had become more intuitive, offering gentle reminders and personalized encouragement. Linda appreciated how this blend of human connection and innovation created a powerful synergy. As summer approached, Linda planned a retreat for seniors and caregivers, focused on holistic wellness and community building. The retreat promised days of movement, meditation, creative expression, and heartfelt conversation. Preparations involved months of careful planning and collaboration, a labor of love that brought the community closer. On the opening day, Linda greeted participants with warmth and enthusiasm. Over the course of the retreat, friendships deepened, fears were shared, and new strengths discovered. The event became a sanctuary where people could shed isolation and embrace belonging. Linda witnessed transformations that echoed her own journey, from despair to empowerment, from fragmentation to wholeness. As the retreat concluded, participants expressed profound gratitude and a renewed commitment to their health and happiness. Linda knew that this experience would ripple outward, inspiring continued growth and connection. Reflecting on the retreat, Linda felt a deep sense of fulfillment. The work she had begun years ago, born from personal struggle, had blossomed into a vibrant community and a movement of healing. She understood that the journey of aging was not a solitary path but a shared adventure, rich with challenges and blessings. As she prepared for bed each night, Linda held close the lessons of this chapter, that strength was found not only in muscles but in vulnerability, that healing was a journey woven with love and courage, and that community was the heart of resilience. The future, still unfolding, shone with promise, a testament to the enduring human spirit. The morning light filtered gently through the curtains as Linda stretched slowly, feeling the subtle strength in her limbs, a testament to years of dedication and care. Today marked a new chapter, not just for her, but for the entire community she had helped build. After months of planning, the pilot program for integrating wearable muscle stimulation devices into senior care homes was set to launch. This was more than technology, it was a promise of independence and dignity for countless seniors facing muscle loss. Linda's heart swelled with anticipation and responsibility. The pilot involved a select group of residents from several care facilities across the state, each chosen for their diverse backgrounds and unique health challenges. Linda had spent time with many of these individuals, hearing their stories and understanding their fears. For them, muscle loss was more than a physical decline, it was a threat to their identity and freedom. The day began at Rosewood Care Home, where Linda was greeted warmly by staff and residents. She met Grace, an 82-year-old retired schoolteacher with a twinkle in her eye despite her limited mobility. Grace's determination to regain strength reminded Linda of herself, kindling a deep connection. Linda demonstrated the wearable device, explaining how it would gently stimulate muscles during daily activities and even while resting, encouraging strength retention and growth. Grace and others listened intently, their hope palpable. Staff members were trained alongside the residents, learning how to operate the devices and monitor progress. Linda emphasized the importance of combining technology with human compassion, a lesson hard-won from years of experience. Over the next several weeks, Linda visited each care home regularly, observing the residents' responses to the new program. Some days were challenging, muscles ached, routines adjusted, and skepticism lingered. But slowly, small victories emerged. Grace managed to walk a few more steps without assistance, another resident regained the ability to hold a cup steadily. These moments were celebrated like milestones, fueling motivation and camaraderie. Linda documented progress meticulously, collaborating with researchers to analyze data and refine protocols. She also facilitated group sessions where residents shared their experiences, fostering a sense of community and mutual support. The emotional uplift was as significant as the physical gains. Outside the care homes, Linda's advocacy efforts continued to thrive. She was invited to speak at a national conference on aging, where she presented the pilot program's early results and shared personal stories that highlighted the intersection of technology, care, and empathy. The audience, composed of healthcare professionals, policymakers, and tech innovators, responded with enthusiasm and thoughtful questions. Linda's message was clear: aging was not a decline to be accepted passively, but a phase to be embraced actively, with dignity and possibility. Following the conference, Linda received numerous invitations to collaborate on expanding the program nationwide. Discussions with government agencies and private foundations opened doors to new funding and partnerships. The momentum was exhilarating but also required careful management to ensure sustainability and quality. Meanwhile, back home, Linda balanced her public role with family life. Sarah had recently been promoted at the hospital, where she was pioneering new protocols for elder care based on holistic principles. Mikey's internship had evolved into a full-time position at a leading biomedical firm, where he contributed to developing next-generation assistive devices. The family's shared commitment to innovation and compassion deepened their bonds and fueled their collective purpose. One evening, during a rare quiet moment, Linda sat with her journal, reflecting on the journey so far. She wrote about the intersections of technology and humanity, the power of community, and the resilience found in vulnerability. These reflections nourished her spirit and clarified her vision for the future. As summer ripened, the pilot program entered its most intensive phase. Linda coordinated with therapists, engineers, and caregivers to troubleshoot challenges and celebrate successes. The wearables became more intuitive, with AI-driven adjustments enhancing comfort and effectiveness. Residents reported improved mobility, less pain, and greater confidence. Grace, once tentative, now led group walks and inspired others with her progress. The pilot's success captured media attention, shining a spotlight on the potential to revolutionize senior care. Linda was interviewed by national news outlets, always emphasizing the importance of integrating empathy with innovation. She stressed that technology alone was not enough, the human touch remained essential. Public response was overwhelmingly positive, with many seniors and families expressing renewed hope. Yet Linda remained mindful of the work ahead. She understood that scaling the program required navigating complex systems, addressing disparities in access, and ensuring ethical implementation. She advocated for policies that prioritized equity and person-centered care. In the midst of these demands, Linda carved out time for self-care and connection. Morning walks with Sarah and Mikey became sacred rituals, moments to recharge and share dreams. Evening dinners were filled with laughter and stories, grounding Linda in the love that sustained her. She also deepened her meditation practice, finding peace in stillness amidst the whirlwind. As autumn approached, Linda organized a symposium bringing together stakeholders from healthcare, technology, policy, and senior communities. The event was a vibrant exchange of ideas and commitments, highlighting innovations and setting agendas for the coming years. Linda's keynote speech underscored the journey from personal struggle to collective empowerment, inspiring attendees to envision a future where aging was celebrated rather than feared. The symposium culminated in a collaborative pledge to advance research, expand programs, and amplify the voices of seniors. Linda felt a profound sense of accomplishment and possibility. The path had been winding and fraught with challenges, but the destination, a world where muscle loss was no longer a sentence to isolation, was within reach. That evening, as she stood on her porch watching the leaves turn, Linda felt the weight and wonder of the journey. Every struggle, every triumph, every connection had woven together to create something greater than herself. The muscles she once feared losing were now symbols of strength and resilience, a testament to human spirit and innovation. She understood that aging was not a story of decline, but one of transformation, connection, and hope. Linda smiled, ready to continue the work with courage and heart, knowing that the best was yet to come. The crisp air of early autumn carried a fresh promise as Linda arrived at the community center for a new initiative, this time focused on intergenerational connection. Inspired by the idea that strength and vitality flourish not only through exercise but through relationships, Linda envisioned a program that would bring together seniors and local youth in shared activities designed to build muscle, trust, and understanding. She believed that bridging the generational gap could invigorate both groups, fostering empathy and combating the isolation that too often plagued the elderly. The first meeting was vibrant and full of energy. Teens from nearby high schools gathered alongside seniors who had been part of Linda's programs for years. Nervous smiles gave way to laughter as they paired up for gentle physical activities, from simple stretches to partner balance exercises. Linda watched as barriers began to dissolve. The teens, initially hesitant, found joy in guiding and supporting their elders, while the seniors appreciated the youthful enthusiasm and fresh perspectives. As weeks passed, the program blossomed. Participants shared stories, exchanged life lessons, and found common ground despite the decades between them. Linda facilitated discussions about aging, resilience, dreams, and challenges, encouraging open communication. The sessions included creative arts and storytelling, further strengthening bonds. One afternoon, an especially moving moment unfolded. A young man named Jason, initially withdrawn and skeptical, opened up about his struggles at home and school. Grace, the 82-year-old retired teacher, listened intently and shared wisdom from her own life's hardships. Their conversation became a turning point for both, illustrating the healing power of connection. Linda documented these stories, recognizing that the program's impact extended far beyond physical health. It was a lifeline for emotional well-being and social belonging. Local media caught wind of the initiative, and soon Linda was invited to present the program at a conference on community health innovation. Her presentation emphasized the holistic benefits of intergenerational engagement, improved muscle strength, reduced loneliness, enhanced mental health, and enriched community ties. The audience responded enthusiastically, sparking interest in replicating the model in other regions. Back home, Linda's family grew even closer through their involvement in the program. Sarah volunteered to lead mindfulness sessions for both seniors and teens, helping participants cultivate presence and reduce stress. Mikey developed a mobile app to track physical progress and facilitate communication between generations. The synergy of their talents and passions created a ripple effect of creativity and care. As the months unfolded, Linda faced new challenges. Balancing the expanding scope of her work with personal demands was taxing. Unexpected funding shortfalls threatened to slow momentum, requiring swift and strategic action. Linda and her team mobilized, launching community fundraisers, grant applications, and partnership drives. Their perseverance paid off, securing resources to sustain and grow the initiative. Alongside these efforts, Linda continued her personal journey of growth. She sought out a mentor, Dr. Evelyn Harper, a renowned gerontologist known for pioneering holistic aging models. Their conversations challenged and enriched Linda's thinking, pushing her to integrate cutting-edge research with compassionate practice. Dr. Harper became a trusted advisor, guiding Linda through complex ethical and practical decisions. One poignant lesson from their discussions was the importance of honoring individual narratives within larger systems. Linda embraced this, ensuring that every participant's voice was heard and valued. The community center became a hub of innovation and warmth, a testament to Linda's vision and leadership. Regular events celebrated milestones, shared successes, and reinforced the bonds that had formed. Seniors and youth collaborated on projects ranging from gardening to digital storytelling, their shared efforts producing tangible and heartfelt outcomes. Linda often reflected on the transformation she witnessed. What had started as a focus on muscle preservation had grown into a vibrant ecosystem of care, connection, and creativity. The holistic approach was proving that aging need not be a period of decline but a chapter of renewal and contribution. One evening, after a particularly moving intergenerational storytelling event, Linda sat with Sarah and Mikey on the porch. The stars twinkled overhead as they shared hopes and dreams for the future. They talked about expanding the program nationally, integrating new technologies, and deepening community partnerships. The conversation was filled with optimism and grounded in experience. As Linda prepared for bed that night, she felt a profound sense of gratitude. The journey had been long and winding, filled with joys and hardships alike. Yet each step had woven a rich tapestry of resilience, love, and purpose. She knew that challenges would continue, but she was fortified by the knowledge that strength, physical, emotional, and communal, was truly limitless when nurtured with care. Her story, intertwined with those of countless others, was a beacon of hope and a call to action. Aging was not an end but a continuum of growth, connection, and possibility. Linda woke early to the soft hum of her wearable muscle stimulator gently activating, a subtle reminder of how far her journey had come. The device had become a quiet partner in her daily routine, supporting her physical strength as much as the emotional resilience she cultivated through years of dedication. Today was special. She was traveling to Washington, D.C., to meet with lawmakers and advocates to push for national policies that would support muscle health programs for seniors across the country. The stakes felt high, but Linda was prepared. She packed her notes, including data from the pilot programs and heartfelt testimonials that underscored the real human impact of muscle preservation initiatives. On the plane, Linda reflected on the twists and turns of her path, from personal struggles with muscle loss to leading a nationwide movement. She thought about the countless seniors she had met, like Grace and Claire, whose stories fueled her passion and perseverance. Arriving in the capital, Linda was swept into a whirlwind of meetings, briefings, and panel discussions. The atmosphere was charged with urgency and hope. She spoke eloquently about the science behind muscle deterioration, the promise of wearable technologies, and the necessity of integrating mental health support into physical care. Her message was clear: preserving muscle was not merely a health issue but a human rights issue, essential to dignity, independence, and quality of life for aging Americans. At one hearing, Linda faced tough questions from skeptical lawmakers concerned about costs and implementation logistics. She responded with empathy and evidence, sharing success stories from pilot programs and emphasizing cost savings in long-term healthcare. Her sincerity and expertise began to shift opinions, opening doors for collaboration. Outside the formal meetings, Linda connected with other advocates and researchers, exchanging ideas and forming alliances. The energy of shared purpose was invigorating, reminding her that this was a collective effort that transcended individual achievements. As the week progressed, Linda also found moments for quiet reflection. She visited the National Museum of American History, drawn to exhibits that highlighted the evolving narratives of aging in the country. Seeing artifacts and stories of past generations deepened her sense of continuity and responsibility. One evening, after a long day, Linda sat on the hotel balcony overlooking the city lights. She felt a mixture of exhaustion and exhilaration. The work ahead was daunting, but the potential for meaningful change was undeniable. She thought about the families touched by muscle loss, the caregivers stretched thin, and the seniors yearning for vitality and connection. This vision gave her strength. Returning home, Linda was greeted with warmth and enthusiasm. Sarah and Mikey had organized a community event to celebrate the progress and share updates from the trip. The gathering was filled with stories, music, and laughter, a reminder of the human heart behind every statistic and policy debate. Linda shared highlights from her meetings and listened to community feedback, reinforcing the cycle of engagement and empowerment. In the weeks that followed, Linda and her team worked to translate policy momentum into concrete action. They developed training modules for healthcare providers, launched awareness campaigns, and expanded wearable device access to underserved populations. Each step was carefully planned to ensure inclusivity and sustainability. Meanwhile, Linda continued her personal practices, morning stretches, mindfulness sessions, and journaling, to maintain balance amid the demands. Her health remained strong, a testament to the integration of science and self-care. One day, Linda received an invitation to speak at an international aging summit. The opportunity was thrilling, a chance to share lessons learned and learn from global innovations. She prepared a compelling presentation, weaving data, personal stories, and a call to global collaboration. At the summit, Linda connected with experts from diverse cultures and disciplines. She discovered shared challenges and novel approaches, broadening her perspective and fueling her commitment to continuous learning. The summit reinforced a vital truth: aging was a universal human experience, and solutions required cooperation across borders and communities. Back home, Linda found renewed inspiration to innovate locally while thinking globally. She began collaborating with tech developers on next-generation wearable devices that incorporated biometric feedback and AI coaching. These advancements promised even more personalized and effective muscle preservation strategies. Throughout this time, Linda remained deeply connected to the individuals her work served. She visited care homes and community centers regularly, witnessing firsthand the lives transformed by the programs. She celebrated milestones with seniors and listened attentively to their evolving needs and hopes. These encounters grounded her mission in compassion and authenticity. As winter approached, Linda reflected on the year's achievements and challenges. The movement she helped build had grown from a seed of personal struggle into a flourishing network of support, innovation, and advocacy. Yet she knew the journey was ongoing, requiring resilience, adaptability, and heart. One quiet evening, Linda sat by her fireplace, reading letters from participants who shared stories of regained independence and newfound joy. Their words warmed her spirit, reminding her of the profound impact of perseverance and care. She wrote back, encouraging continued strength and connection. Linda's story was no longer just her own, it belonged to a community bound by shared experience and hope. Preparing for sleep, she held on to a phrase she often repeated: strength is not just in muscles, but in courage, connection, and the will to keep moving forward. With that, she closed her eyes, ready to face whatever the next chapter would bring. Linda woke to the gentle buzz of her wearable muscle stimulator, a familiar yet welcome sensation signaling the start of another day devoted to health and hope. Today, she was heading to a rural town several hours away, invited by a local senior center struggling to address muscle loss and isolation among its members. The contrast between bustling city programs and under-resourced rural communities had become increasingly clear to Linda, fueling a new mission. To bridge the gap in muscle healthcare access across diverse geographies. The drive through winding country roads was a reminder of the vastness and diversity of America's aging population. Fields of amber grain stretched alongside quaint farmhouses, while distant hills rolled under a sky brushed with soft clouds. Linda felt a mix of excitement and responsibility. When she arrived at the small community center, she was greeted warmly by staff and seniors eager for change. The center's director, Martha, shared stories of seniors who had stopped attending events due to muscle weakness and fear of falling. Linda listened intently, recognizing that the challenges here were both physical and emotional. Together, they designed a tailored program combining wearable technology with group exercise, nutritional counseling, and social activities aimed at rebuilding muscle and confidence. Implementing the program was not without hurdles. The center lacked robust internet access, complicating the use of some digital features. Equipment was limited, and staff stretched thin. Linda adapted swiftly, simplifying protocols and training volunteers to provide hands-on support. Residents, initially hesitant, gradually embraced the new routines. Among them was Bill, a 77-year-old retired mechanic with a wry sense of humor and a stubborn streak. Bill's skepticism slowly gave way as he experienced improvements in strength and balance, rekindling his love for fishing and gardening. His progress inspired others and became a beacon of hope. Over weeks, the community center transformed into a hub of energy and connection. Group sessions buzzed with laughter and encouragement. Seniors shared meals, stories, and goals, fostering bonds that extended beyond the program. Linda marveled at the power of human connection to amplify physical health gains. She also noted the importance of local culture and values in shaping program success. Incorporating familiar music, traditional foods, and storytelling helped embed the initiative within the community's fabric. Linda documented these adaptations carefully, understanding that flexibility was key to reaching diverse populations. The success of the rural program caught the attention of state health officials. Linda was invited to present the model at a regional conference, highlighting lessons learned and strategies for scaling across similar communities. Her presentation emphasized equity, cultural sensitivity, and the critical role of partnerships with local organizations. The response was enthusiastic, opening doors for additional funding and collaborations. Back home, Linda's family remained her anchor. Sarah's work in holistic elder care had deepened, and she shared insights that enriched Linda's programs. Mikey's tech innovations continue to evolve, with new features designed specifically for low-connectivity environments. The synergy of their efforts reinforced a shared vision of accessible, compassionate care for all seniors. Despite successes, Linda faced moments of doubt. The enormity of the challenge, vast numbers of seniors at risk, limited resources, systemic barriers, sometimes felt overwhelming. Yet she found strength in small victories, the faces of those she served, and the unwavering support of her family and colleagues. One particularly poignant moment came during a community gathering. Bill stood before the group, sharing his story with heartfelt honesty. He spoke of fear, loss, and rediscovery, of how the program had given him more than muscle strength, it had restored his sense of purpose and joy. The room erupted in applause, tears mingling with smiles. Linda's heart swelled with gratitude and resolve. Inspired by these experiences, Linda pursued partnerships with agricultural extension programs and rural health networks to expand outreach. She advocated for policy changes to prioritize rural health equity, emphasizing the unique challenges and assets of these communities. Her advocacy work extended to national forums, ensuring that rural voices were heard in shaping aging policy. Meanwhile, Linda nurtured her own well-being through nature walks, meditation, and moments of quiet reflection. She understood that sustaining this work required self-care and balance. The changing seasons mirrored her journey, a cycle of growth, renewal, and perseverance. As winter's chill settled in, Linda prepared a report summarizing the rural program's outcomes and recommendations. She included testimonials, data on muscle strength improvements, and narratives illustrating the holistic impact. The report was well received by funders and policymakers, further cementing support for expansion. One snowy evening, Linda gathered with Sarah and Mikey by the fireplace, sharing hopes for the coming year. They spoke of integrating community gardens, expanding intergenerational programs, and exploring virtual reality tools for remote exercise coaching. The conversation was filled with optimism tempered by realism, a testament to their collective experience and dedication. Linda's story had evolved from a personal quest into a movement that touched lives across cities and countryside alike. Each chapter had brought new insights, challenges, and triumphs. Through it all, the core message remained steadfast: aging was a journey of strength, connection, and hope. Preparing for rest, Linda held on to this truth, ready to face the future with courage and heart. Linda awoke to a new dawn, feeling a renewed sense of purpose after weeks of intense travel and community visits. Today, she was set to launch a groundbreaking pilot project integrating nutrition science with muscle preservation techniques for seniors, a comprehensive approach she believed was essential to truly combating muscle loss. Her collaboration with Dr. Maya Collins, a leading nutritionist specializing in aging metabolism, promised to bring fresh insights into how diet could amplify the effects of exercise and technology in maintaining muscle health. Linda's excitement mingled with the weight of responsibility. This pilot could reshape approaches nationwide. The first day at the Wellness Center was filled with anticipation. Participants gathered, eager to learn how small dietary shifts combined with personalized exercise regimens and wearable feedback could change their lives. Linda introduced the program with her characteristic warmth, emphasizing that the journey was about empowerment and rediscovery. Dr. Collins took the stage next, explaining the science behind protein intake, micronutrients, and hydration, elements crucial for muscle repair and growth. Her explanations were accessible yet informative, sparking lively questions and discussions. The sessions were designed to be hands-on and interactive. Seniors practiced preparing simple, nutritious meals, learned to read food labels, and tracked their hydration habits. The wearable devices monitored their muscle activity, giving real-time data that helped fine-tune exercises and dietary plans. Linda watched as participants gradually embraced the holistic model. Betty, a vibrant 79-year-old with a sharp wit, shared how she never realized the impact of nutrition on her strength. She felt energized and motivated to make changes. Others echoed similar sentiments, noting improved sleep and mood alongside physical gains. The program also incorporated group cooking classes and communal meals, fostering social connections that further enhanced well-being. Linda believed these social bonds were as vital as the physical interventions, creating a supportive environment that encouraged adherence and joy. Over weeks, data collected revealed promising trends: increased muscle mass, better balance, and fewer reports of fatigue and falls. The feedback loop between nutrition, exercise, and wearable technology was proving effective. Linda and Dr. Collins refined protocols continually, responding to participant needs and preferences. Beyond the center, Linda engaged with caregivers and families, offering workshops that highlighted the importance of nutritional support in aging. She emphasized practical strategies for shopping, meal planning, and overcoming common barriers like appetite changes or medication effects. These sessions helped broaden the impact, ensuring that muscle preservation extended beyond structured programs into everyday life. Meanwhile, Linda's own habits deepened in line with the program's principles. She experimented with nutrient-dense recipes, mindful eating, and hydration reminders, experiencing firsthand the benefits she advocated. This alignment of personal practice and professional mission strengthened her credibility and resolve. As the pilot neared completion, Linda prepared a comprehensive report detailing outcomes, challenges, and recommendations. The findings attracted attention from healthcare providers and policymakers interested in integrated aging care models. Invitations for speaking engagements and collaborations poured in, expanding Linda's influence and reach. However, success did not come without hurdles. Some participants faced chronic conditions that complicated adherence, requiring individualized adjustments and additional support. Linda worked closely with multidisciplinary teams to address these complexities, reinforcing the importance of flexibility and compassion in program design. The emotional journeys of participants were equally profound. Stories of renewed independence, rekindled passions, and deepened family bonds emerged, underscoring the holistic nature of health. Linda made sure these narratives were shared alongside data, reminding all stakeholders that behind every statistic was a human life transformed. One memorable moment was during a celebration event marking the pilot's completion. Participants showcased their favorite recipes, shared testimonials, and performed a gentle exercise routine demonstrating their progress. The atmosphere was joyous and hopeful. Linda felt immense pride and gratitude. Looking ahead, Linda and Dr. Collins planned to expand the program, incorporating lessons learned and exploring partnerships with food banks, pharmacies, and senior housing facilities. The vision was to create accessible, scalable interventions that could adapt to diverse needs and settings. Linda also continued to advocate for policy changes that recognized nutrition as a pillar of aging health, working to integrate funding streams and clinical guidelines accordingly. At home, the family celebrated milestones together. Sarah developed complementary mindfulness practices that supported digestion and stress reduction, while Mikey advanced app features allowing users to log meals and receive personalized tips. Their collaborative spirit fueled innovation and impact. On a quiet evening, Linda reflected on the evolution of her work, from personal struggle with muscle loss to leading integrative solutions that touched thousands. The journey was marked by perseverance, learning, and connection. She understood that the path ahead required continued adaptation, empathy, and partnership. Preparing for sleep, Linda embraced a profound truth: true strength in aging emerged not just from muscles, but from nurturing body, mind, and community in harmony. With that thought, she closed her eyes, ready to continue the mission with heart and hope. Linda's phone buzzed with an urgent message early one morning. A sudden outbreak of influenza was sweeping through several senior centers in the region, threatening the health and well-being of vulnerable populations she had come to know deeply. This news hit hard. Respiratory illnesses often accelerated muscle decline and functional loss among seniors, complicating recovery and increasing risks of hospitalization. Without hesitation, Linda mobilized her team to respond swiftly and effectively. She coordinated with healthcare providers, public health officials, and center directors to implement enhanced prevention protocols and adapt programs to meet urgent needs. They introduced modified exercise routines that were safe for those recovering or confined, nutritional plans focused on immune support, and virtual engagement options to maintain connection despite quarantine measures. The challenges were immense. Isolation intensified feelings of loneliness and depression, making motivation difficult. Physical setbacks due to illness slowed progress, frustrating both seniors and caregivers. Linda drew deeply on her resilience and compassion, encouraging her team to provide empathetic support and maintain hopeful communication. She personally checked in on many participants, listening to fears, sharing encouragement, and problem-solving barriers to care. Among those affected was Mrs. Jenkins, a spirited 85-year-old widow who had been thriving in the program before falling ill. Her recovery was slow and fraught with setbacks. Linda arranged for a dedicated volunteer to assist with light exercises and meal preparation, ensuring continuity of care. The experience highlighted the fragility and strength of aging bodies and the critical role of community in healing. Throughout the outbreak, Linda leveraged technology to maintain connection. Virtual group sessions, phone check-ins, and online educational workshops became lifelines. Participants expressed gratitude for these efforts, noting how social engagement was as vital as physical health in their recovery. This period reinforced for Linda the importance of adaptability and innovation in care delivery. Concurrently, Linda worked to disseminate best practices and resources through newsletters, social media, and collaboration with other organizations. She emphasized prevention strategies, vaccination awareness, and the integration of muscle health maintenance into broader wellness plans. Her advocacy efforts reached new audiences, sparking conversations about resilience in aging populations. The emotional toll of the outbreak was palpable. Linda and her team provided counseling support and facilitated peer groups to process grief, anxiety, and uncertainty. These interventions fostered a sense of solidarity and hope amid adversity. Slowly but surely, the tide began to turn. Seniors regained strength and confidence, re-engaging in physical activity and social life. The community centers reopened with renewed vigor, infused with lessons learned from the crisis. Linda's reflections during this time were profound. She recognized the interconnectedness of physical health, mental well-being, social support, and environmental factors. The experience underscored the necessity of holistic, person-centered care models that could flexibly respond to emergent challenges. Linda's personal resilience was tested, too. The weight of responsibility and emotional labor was heavy, but she found solace in her family and the collective strength of the communities she served. Sarah's mindfulness practices and Mikey's digital innovations provided essential support and inspiration. As normalcy returned, Linda seized the moment to plan for the future. She initiated development of emergency preparedness protocols tailored for senior health programs, ensuring readiness for potential crises. Training modules were created to equip staff and volunteers with skills to manage health emergencies while maintaining muscle health and emotional support. Linda also renewed her commitment to policy advocacy, pushing for integrated funding and resources that recognize the complexities of aging care. The outbreak had revealed systemic gaps that needed addressing at multiple levels. On a personal note, Linda took time for rest and reflection, understanding that sustainable leadership required self-care. She spent weekends hiking in nature, journaling, and reconnecting with her own sense of purpose. This balance fortified her for the ongoing journey. The chapter closed with a community celebration marking recovery and resilience. Stories were shared, friendships renewed, and commitments to continued care strengthened. Linda stood amidst the crowd, heart full, knowing that while challenges remained, the spirit of hope and connection was unbreakable. Aging, she realized, was a dance of vulnerability and strength, shaped by the love and care woven through every muscle and moment. Linda's phone rang early one crisp spring morning, waking her with an unexpected urgency. The voice on the line was Dr. Raj Patel, a neuroscientist pioneering research on the link between brain health and muscle function in seniors. He invited Linda to collaborate on a new study investigating how cognitive decline and muscle deterioration were intertwined. Two challenges aging populations often faced simultaneously but rarely addressed together. Intrigued and energized, Linda immediately agreed, sensing this partnership could unlock crucial insights for her mission. The collaboration began with a series of intensive meetings, brainstorming sessions where Linda shared her frontline experiences and Raj introduced cutting-edge research on neuroplasticity, motor function, and the brain-muscle connection. They devised a protocol combining cognitive exercises, physical therapy, and wearable tech data to track progress in real time. Their goal was ambitious: develop an integrated intervention that could slow or even reverse declines in both mind and body. Recruiting participants proved challenging but rewarding. Linda's network of seniors, many eager to contribute to science and improve their own health, embraced the study with enthusiasm. Sessions incorporated brain games, memory challenges, and mindfulness practices alongside targeted strength and balance exercises. The synergy was palpable. Participants reported feeling sharper, more alert, and physically stronger, reinforcing the mind-body connection Linda had always sensed but had seen only partially in her earlier work. As weeks turned to months, data poured in revealing fascinating patterns. Cognitive improvements correlated with gains in muscle mass and coordination. Participants showed reduced falls and enhanced quality of life. These findings excited the research community and opened doors for grant funding and media attention. But beyond the numbers were the stories, like Eleanor's, a former schoolteacher who found renewed joy in reading aloud to grandchildren, her memory clearer and her arms stronger, or Frank, who took up woodworking again after years of frustration with shaky hands and weak grip. Linda visited participants regularly, witnessing transformations that blended science with deeply human experiences. The study also illuminated challenges. Some seniors struggled with technology, requiring patient coaching and adaptations. Others faced emotional hurdles linked to cognitive decline or isolation, underscoring the need for holistic support beyond physical interventions. Linda advocated fiercely for integrated care teams including psychologists, occupational therapists, and social workers to address these complexities. Throughout the collaboration, Linda and Raj's partnership deepened into a shared vision for a new model of aging care, one that recognized the inseparability of brain and body health, and the power of personalized, compassionate interventions. They co-authored papers, spoke at conferences, and engaged with policymakers to promote this paradigm shift. Linda's family cheered her on, proud of her expanding impact. Sarah contributed mindfulness techniques tailored for cognitive support, while Mikey enhanced app features to include brain training games synchronized with physical activity reminders. The integration of their skills created a robust ecosystem supporting seniors holistically. As the study concluded, Linda and Raj prepared a comprehensive report and a pilot program blueprint for wider implementation. They emphasized adaptability, cultural sensitivity, and accessibility to ensure the approach could benefit diverse communities nationwide. The publication garnered acclaim, marking a milestone in Linda's journey from personal struggle to pioneering leader in senior health innovation. Despite accolades, Linda remained grounded in the everyday realities of the seniors she served. She continued visiting community centers, hearing firsthand about challenges and triumphs, and refining programs accordingly. Her work was never just about science but about people, their stories, hopes, and dignity. One evening, reflecting on the journey, Linda realized that aging was less about decline and more about transformation, a complex interplay of mind, body, and spirit shaped by connection and care. This insight fueled her ongoing commitment to push boundaries and nurture resilience. Preparing for rest, Linda felt a deep gratitude for the path she had walked and the road ahead. The dance of neurons and muscles, memories and movements, was a beautiful, unfolding story, one she was honored to help write. Linda sat quietly in the soft glow of her study lamp, reviewing notes for her upcoming keynote speech at the National Aging Summit. This event was the culmination of years of relentless work, advocacy, and innovation aimed at transforming how America cared for its seniors. She reflected on the journey, from personal battles with muscle loss to leading a movement integrating technology, nutrition, cognitive health, and community. Her message was clear. Aging was not a decline but an opportunity for growth, connection, and renewal. As she prepared, Linda thought about the countless seniors she had met along the way, their stories, struggles, and triumphs fueling her passion. She decided her speech would weave these narratives with scientific insights, aiming to inspire policymakers, healthcare providers, and families to rethink aging care. The day of the summit arrived with an electric energy. Linda took the stage to a packed auditorium, feeling a mixture of nerves and resolve. She opened with a question: what if we redefined aging not as an end but as a new beginning? The audience leaned in. She shared stories of seniors who had reclaimed strength, independence, and joy through integrated care. She presented data showing improved outcomes when muscle health, nutrition, cognitive function, and social connection were addressed holistically. Linda emphasized the power of wearable technology to personalize care and empower seniors to take charge of their health. Throughout the speech, she injected moments of humor and heart, recounting Bill's stubborn fishing trips, Eleanor's book readings, and the community center's laughter-filled gatherings. The crowd responded with warmth and enthusiasm, many nodding in recognition of the truth behind her words. Linda concluded with a call to action: invest in programs that honor the complexity of aging, support caregivers, and embrace innovation grounded in empathy. She challenged the audience to imagine a future where every senior could thrive with dignity and joy. The applause was sustained and heartfelt. Afterward, Linda engaged in deep conversations with leaders from government, healthcare, and nonprofit sectors. Partnerships formed, funding opportunities emerged, and commitments to pilot new programs were made. The summit was a watershed moment, amplifying Linda's vision and expanding its reach. Back home, Linda's family celebrated the achievement with quiet pride. Sarah shared plans to develop supportive mindfulness curricula, while Mikey unveiled new app features integrating summit insights. Their collaborative momentum was unstoppable. Yet, Linda remained mindful of the work ahead. She knew systemic change was slow and complex, requiring persistence, adaptability, and a steady heart. She recommitted herself to listening, learning, and leading with humility and courage. In the weeks that followed, Linda traveled to underserved communities, ensuring that the summit's momentum translated into real-world impact. She met with seniors and caregivers, gathering feedback and tailoring programs to local needs. Each visit reaffirmed her belief that solutions must be rooted in respect, cultural understanding, and genuine partnership. One evening, during a quiet moment in a small-town community center, an elderly woman approached Linda. With tears in her eyes, she thanked Linda for bringing hope and strength to a place where despair had taken hold. That encounter crystallized the meaning behind Linda's mission: beyond data and policy, it was about human dignity and connection. As spring gave way to summer, Linda embraced the cyclical nature of life and aging. She took time to savor family moments, hike through blooming woods, and journal reflections that nurtured her spirit. Her journey was far from over, but each chapter brought her closer to a future where aging was celebrated as a vibrant chapter of life. Preparing for sleep one warm night, Linda whispered a promise: to continue fighting for seniors everywhere, ensuring their muscles, minds, and hearts stayed strong, no matter the challenges. This was more than a mission, it was a movement fueled by love, hope, and unyielding belief in the power of new beginnings. The final chapter of Linda's journey unfolded quietly but powerfully on a late summer evening as she stood overlooking a gathering at the community center where her programs had blossomed from humble beginnings into a thriving hub of hope and health. The air was filled with laughter, music, and the soft chatter of seniors sharing stories and celebrating their progress. Linda's heart swelled with pride and gratitude, knowing how far everyone had come together. It was a milestone event, marking the official launch of a nationwide initiative inspired by her work, one that integrated muscle preservation, nutrition, cognitive health, and community support into a seamless network accessible to seniors everywhere. As Linda moved through the crowd, she saw familiar faces: Bill, whose fishing trips had become more frequent and joyful, Eleanor, now leading a book club, Mrs. Jenkins, who had regained strength after her illness, and many others who embodied resilience and renewal. Their journeys were living proof that aging could be a chapter of vitality, connection, and meaning. The event was not just a celebration but a reflection on the lessons learned. Linda took the stage to share her closing thoughts, weaving together the themes that had carried her through years of challenges and triumphs. She spoke of the importance of embracing aging as a natural process rich with opportunities for growth, learning, and love. She emphasized that muscle health was a foundation, but true strength arose from nurturing mind, body, and community in harmony. Her voice carried the conviction of lived experience and scientific insight, touching the hearts of all present. Linda then invited several seniors to share their stories, creating a tapestry of voices that illustrated the power of persistence, hope, and support. The room was moved by tales of struggle transformed into success, isolation replaced by friendship, and decline countered by determination. As the evening wore on, Linda reflected privately on the winding path that had led her here, from the initial shock of muscle loss, through the depths of uncertainty and despair, to the heights of innovation and advocacy. She understood that the journey was ongoing, that each day offered new challenges and opportunities to grow. But she felt a deep peace knowing her work had sparked change far beyond what she once imagined. Later, alone in her room, Linda revisited a journal entry from early in her journey. What if you suddenly lost everything and had no one by your side? The question had haunted and motivated her. Now, she saw the answer was not just survival but transformation through connection, knowledge, and love. She whispered to herself, life is full of surprises, but love will always lead the way. As she prepared to sleep, Linda felt a profound sense of gratitude, not just for her own resilience but for the strength she had witnessed in others. She knew that aging was not a battle to be feared but a dance to be embraced with courage and grace. Her final thought before drifting into rest was a quiet promise, to keep walking alongside seniors everywhere, sharing hope, strength, and the unshakable belief that every muscle, mind, and heart could grow stronger with care. The future was bright, and the journey had only just begun. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough?